Imagine my ignorance all this time talking about Emanuel Asker's fantasy variation when in fact these days it's called the Rasa Studier Gambit, whatever that is. And anyway, that's what my software calls it. And the fact is that what it is it's nothing but a BlackmarDiemer formation played against Kiro Kan. So we're going to look at this specifically, in fact, since it's been played over 100 years, and it used to be called other things. Whoever's renamed it, no doubt, has developed it in some way. So the fact is that what we're going to try to do is open the F file by playing F3, and we're going to try to lock in the white squared bishop. And this is a fairly interesting game where just black makes one or two missteps, and it's particularly effective against Kiro Kan players as opposed to, say, French players, because, well, actually both, they play closed systems to a large extent and aren't used to the kind of tactical possibilities that can occur in these types of positions. So we'll take a look at it. As you see, we've already made the moves. We're going to turn on the engine. We're going to take a look at what happens. So this engine has decided that we're even, basically. And now, since he played e6, which is an exceptionally conservative move, I'm not going to play bishop to c4, which is a move that I favor. I'm going to play bishop to d3. And this game's going to develop normally, and it's going to be extremely even. And there's an unusual move, bishop to d7. So, we see unusual moves these days in Grandmaster games, and this was no Grandmaster. And in fact, he was not one of the higher rated players we played, but he was pretty highly rated. So the fact is that that move makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know what he moved there for. So we just continue our development, and as you see, it doesn't matter that he really moved there because it's still just an even game. I may be a pawn down, but now it suggests taking. And the reason why is that d5 becomes a possibility after taking. So that's probably a possibility right now. Yeah, now it's decided it is. Okay, so instead I castle long, and it says it's still even. So he takes, and I take, and now the right move was bishop to e7. And so now you're going to see, just because he moved knight to c6 instead of bishop to e7, what happens to his position. He's all of a sudden down one. So why is that exactly? Well, bishop to b5, it says here is the correct move, but he really needs to deal with the fact that his king is still in the middle. And worse than that, it's not shielded by a bishop, even though it's got a pawn on e6. It's a sense of false security. So I do not pin like the computer suggests. I just play knight takes knight, which is inaccurate and allows it to just go back to an even game. But I had this idea, and the idea was to kind of make the wrong, what according to the computer is the wrong series of moves, which no doubt it is. But at least I've got a space advantage, and I've got some wide open attacking possibilities here. So we're going to see just how fast the fortunes turn, because if you'll notice, the computer right now suggests queen to b6 is the best move for black, and that's exactly what this player did. So now it's suggesting queen to e5, double attacking the knight, and creating some different problems. Now it's suggesting bishop takes f6. But even with the best play by black, bishop to f6, it says, now is all of a sudden giving white a slight edge. And that's what I played. Now knight to d5 becomes the move, and yes, knight to d5, the bishop is pinned on c6, so he can't take it by either pawn or bishop, and it does attack the queen. So and if he takes the bishop, he loses the queen to a c7 check. So after that, the computer suggesting bishop to h6 check, and he does not play that. So what does he play? He sees the f6 pawn attacked. Okay, he goes back, and now the game is lost. So it's really that simple, He was supposed to check, and he didn't. Now it says f5's the right move, and in fact, as if he moves f5, we can just take the pawn. So we'll see what becomes of this. He checks now. We move over, and he's completely lost. So what happened here was, and I'll tell you, he castled and then resigned because of the subsequent check. But the it was completely ridiculous, and it's very hard to find a defense in this position. So that's how fast these Blackmar-Diemer positions can die. And if you look at white, we've moved every piece, and we have like superior outposts, and for our pawn we have basically a winning position. And that's the end of this Blackmar-Diemer tutorial.